The exercise files for today's course are located in the video description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello everyone, my name is Trish Connor-Cato. Welcome to the WordPress video course. This course is for anyone new to WordPress or who is self-taught on the product. Each category would make a good candidate for this course. No prior WordPress knowledge is needed. No prior web development or programming skills are required. This course is designed for non-technical users who are more interested in content management and search engine optimization than the technical aspects of website creation. Module 4 will see us learning about pages, using the media library, and how to import and export content. Our 5th module will focus on plugins. We'll learn what they are, how to install them, and we'll cover the must-have pack of plugins. You should know that I do have files in the video description that we will be using during this course, so you may want to pause the video, download those files, and put them in the same folder somewhere on your computer for easy access.
Looking to support our channel and get a great deal? Become a member today to unlock ad-free videos. That's right, your favorite courses without a single ad. Interested in a specific video? Purchase one of our ad-free courses individually. Looking for even more? Gain access to exams, certificates, and exclusive content at LearnitAnytime.com. More information can be found in the video description below.
In our 4th module, we're going to be learning a little bit more about pages, media, and how to import and export content to and from your WordPress sites. We have 3 lessons in this module. We're going to start with pages, then you'll learn how to add items to the media library, and then we'll move on to importing and exporting content. Now, there is a file in the video description called Useful Links. It's a Word document. You want to have that open while we're going through this module. And also in the video description, there's a folder named Images for Website, and you should go ahead and have that folder opened as well. And now we're going to add another page. So I'm on the Pages screen, and I'm going to use the Add New link at the top of the screen this time. And I should mention, if that right pane is not expanded when you come in here or open, you can always click the gear to show or hide it. The title of this page is going to be Articles. And then I'm going to just use my down arrow to get underneath that title. And I'm going to type Northern California inspiring garden ideas for all gardeners. And then I'm going to just select that text. And that little toolbar pops up, and on it, it has the link icon, or you could do Control-K, just like you can in like Word or, the Office programs to get to a hyperlink. So I'm going to click the link icon. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up that Useful Links document so I can show you how to get the actual URL. So in that Word document, that first link, I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to choose Edit Hyperlink. And at the bottom, the actual address, the URL is selected. The text to display is at the top. And since that's already selected, I'm going to do Control-C to copy that URL. I can cancel out of here. And then I'm going to paste that URL in that search box on the page. And once you paste it, you press Enter. And now it changed that text into the actual link. Now, that is a placeholder right there. If you click on that placeholder that looks like a hyperlink, it opens that screen again. And you want to toggle Open in New Tab. So that if a user on the page accesses that link, it opens that link in a new tab on their browser. And now I've clicked at the end of that link placeholder, and I'm going to press enter. And the next thing we're going to type is a winter vegetable garden in Northern California. Same process, we're going to select it, the text. We're going to go ahead and click on link or Control K. Go to your Word document and right click on that link and edit it. You're going to copy the URL and you can cancel that edit hyperlink box. Paste it in, press enter, click on it and toggle open in new tab. So the third one I'm going to have you do on your own, and you have what you're going to type in the link in the Word document, and then you can get to the actual URL and copy and paste it in here. And when you're done, your screen should look like mine. When I click on that last link, I went ahead and toggled Open in New Tab. And we're going to go ahead and publish this page. I went ahead and accessed the View Page link. You'll notice since we added another page, when we created our menu for this theme, we told it to add new pages to the menu. So it did that automatically for that primary menu. It has articles up there now. And these are actual links on this page that I can select and go to the articles. And I can get this to show. You can see that it opened on a new tab. So I'm going to just go ahead and close that article. And I'm going to just use the clock to get back to my WordPress interface. And I'm going to go back to pages for a moment. So we can see our articles page is there listed with all of our other pages. And the one thing is, you have those options, edit, quick edit, trash, view, and blaze. Blaze is an advertising plugin, I guess. And so it comes out of the box, and I've had some blaze messages on the screen before that I closed. And it allows you to advertise on WordPress.com and Tumblr in just a few clicks. It turns your site content into clean, compelling ads that run across their network of blogs. Now, something else I want to show you since we're here on pages. You'll notice that it says we have 4 pages, 3 published, 1 draft, no cornerstone content. Cornerstone content ties in with your SEO plugin if you were using it. In this case, the one that comes out of the box is Yoast. And so what does that mean? Cornerstone content consists of the best, most important articles on your site. The pages or posts you want to rank highest in the search engines. So it correlates with your SEO, and you can actually mark things as cornerstone content when you're using an SEO plugin. The other thing I want to talk about on this screen are these icons over on the right. So when I hover over the first icon, kind of looks like a traffic light, that would be your SEO score. And so we haven't done anything with SEO. When I hover over that red circle, it says focus key phrase not set. So that also has to do with your search engine optimization. The next one that looks like a feather, or it's like a quill of a pen, right? That's your readability score. And so when you hover over any of the green circles there, you'll see good. That blog post, it's not available. The blog post page, it says not available, as well as that draft privacy policy page. And then you have two icons. One has an upward pointing arrow on the left. And if you hover over that one, it says number of outgoing internal links in this post. And it says see Yoast columns text in the help tab for more info. So again, deals with SEO, right? We don't have any outgoing internal links in the post. And because we don't have Yoast enabled, we're not showing any outgoing number. So this first one is number of outgoing internal links. And the second one is the number of internal links. And so just some SEO information that you can see right there from this screen. So now we're going to start adding some files to our media library. And I have this slide here, and it shows you what types of image, audio, video files that you can add in WordPress. You can also add PDFs and Adobe Photoshop documents, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint files. And at the bottom of the slide, the images that we have in the files for the video description, in that images for website folder, I got all of those from openverse.org. So I put a link to that website there. You can also access Openverse from within WordPress.org, but it's an extensive library of free stock photos, images, and audio. It's all part of Creative Content, and which means it's free and legal for you to use. Now we're ready to upload images to our media library. So on the left sidebar, I'm simply going to hover over Media and choose Add New. And you can see that you can select the files. It'll take you to your File Explorer, or you can drop files to upload, which I prefer to do. So all of these files are in that Images for Website folder in the files for the video description. So as you can see, I've selected all of the files in that folder. And I've moved that folder to my other screen. And I'm just clicking and holding. And notice it tells me how many files I have selected, which is 14. And it's copying them in here. So they'll still be in that Images for Website folder. And I'm going to just let go. And it starts uploading them. It lets you know the maximum upload file size right above where it's uploading those files. And now when you go to your library, you will see the 14 images. And they show up in the library in the order that you uploaded them, with the last one being the first one. So whichever order they were uploaded. And you notice it went through the uploading process, and then it crunched the image, and then it went to the next image and uploaded it, and kept repeating that process until they were all uploaded. So one of the things I like to do when we first have our images upload is I like to assign captions to them. And I do it out of the gate. Now I can do it as I use them, but I'm in the habit of doing them as soon as I upload them, so I don't have to worry about it later when I do utilize them on pages or posts or even on categories. The other thing is, in your media library, it defaults to showing all media items. As you can see, that's a drop down. So if you just wanted to see images, if you had a mix of items, you can filter by just those items, and also by date here. you can also search for items in here. So in the search box, if I type in basil and press enter, it shows me that one item. And I'm going to do the X to the right of the search box to clear that and get my full list of items back again. So I'm going to select the first item, and it opens up the attachment details screen, tells you when it was uploaded, who it was uploaded by, information about the file. And it comes with a caption, right? And again, I got these from Openverse. So I'm going to just remove that caption, and I'm going to type in tomatoes on the vine. I can leave the title the way it is. And I like to put alternative text in so that anyone who's visually disabled, a screen reader will read what it says for this picture on the screen. So I'm going to just put the same thing, tomatoes on the vine, for alt text. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom on the right, you can view the attachment page, edit more details, or delete the image permanently. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the right arrow in the upper right corner to get to the next image, so I don't have to go through each of them. And for this, the alt text is going to be time plant. We'll leave the title, and the caption is just going to be time. I'm going to move to the next one. Alt text is going to be strawberry plant, and the caption is going to just be strawberry. So go through the rest of these images and assign. You should be able to tell from the title what it is. If I encounter any that don't have a title, I will let you know what they are. And you're going to just put in alt text and a caption for these. A couple that I want to point out, the question mark, I'm not giving it a caption. And when you get to the red, yellow, and orange bell peppers, notice there's a scroll bar in the caption. So you want to scroll down, and that information that's in there about what kind of camera it was taken with, you're going to delete that out of the caption. And when you're done with your alt text and captioning, you can do that X in the upper right-hand corner to get back to your media library. Now let's go start using some of our images. We'll start on pages, and we're going to edit our About Me page. And we're going to see what a featured image looks like on this page. Now on the right side, I'm going to scroll down and you'll see the featured image section. Not all theme templates allow for featured images. So I'm going to go ahead and click right there where it says Set Featured Image. And it's going to take me to my media library. But there's another tab up there. If the file isn't already in my media tab library, I can go to Upload Files and upload them. And the image we're going to use is this backyard garden image. One that looks like a house is in it. So I'm going to select that image. And you'll notice on the right, it has our alt text, our caption. We could do it now as we're using it. And down at the bottom, if you scroll through, you'll see the description. You have the URL to the image, and you can copy that URL. And there's a blue button, Set Featured Image. And that's what I'm going to do. So now what I'd like to do is preview the page in the upper right. And I always like to preview in a new tab. And you'll notice where the caption shows on the featured image is right underneath the image. So we're using that placeholder spot, the featured image spot, which is built into the theme's template to be in that position for this particular image. And now I've come out of the preview. I'm back on my edit page and I'm going to update this page. I decide to keep that image where it shows on the page. And now I'm going to go back to View Pages. Let's go to our Post section on the left sidebar. And we are going to edit the What Grows in My Garden post. And for this post, we're going to add a couple of galleries and also a single image. So what we're going to do is hover in between vegetables in the first paragraph. That's where I want you to hover. And when you get the plus sign there to add a block, we're going to select Gallery. And then on the gallery screen, we're going to select Media Library. So we're going to select our tomatoes on the vine. And we're going to go down and grab our cherry tomatoes and our peppers. So we have three things selected. In the lower right, you'll see that it says create a new gallery. And if you accidentally selected something, you can clear the items down here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new gallery. And at this point, you can drag and drop to rearrange everything. So I'm going to just click on my peppers and I'm going to put them in the first position. And in the lower right, insert gallery. So you'll see the gallery of the three photos on the page. Notice that the captions in the gallery are actually on the image, whereas with the featured image, it shows up below. We're going to scroll down on this page. We're not quite done. We're going to hover in between herbs and its paragraph and add another gallery block from our media library. So we're going to start by clicking on the first herb, it's thyme. And then we're going to select our rosemary. Next one is oregano, mint, cilantro. And I think, yeah, if you scroll down, you'll find the basil. And then create a new gallery. Gives you the opportunity to organize them. So I am going to actually put these in alphabetical order just because I can. And it actually satisfies my OCD. So I have them organized to my satisfaction. And I'm going to go ahead and insert the gallery. And then last but not least, we're going to add a single image because I'm only growing strawberries. So I'm hovering between fruit and its paragraph. And I'm going to add just the image block here. Go to my media library. And I'm going to grab the strawberries that are the plant, not the ones in the basket. And select. So the individual image block also puts the caption beneath the image. And so we have two galleries and an image on this page, this post, and we can go ahead and preview it. And it's definitely given this post a lot more visual interest. And now back on the edit page, I'm going to go ahead and update that post. So before we add images to our About My Garden sticky post, let's go back to our media library for a moment. And so on that post, I want to use the basket of peppers and the basket of strawberries. And at this point, it would be nice to have a basket of herbs to also show on that post in a gallery format. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how to get to Openverse and how easy it is to grab these creative content files. So I'm just on a new browser tab and I'm going to just type openverse.org. It already comes up for me. And all I have to do is click in search for content, and I'm going to type in basket of herbs and press enter. And so it comes up with all these different image files of baskets of herbs. And I think I am going to select this herb basket. You can select whichever herb. Ooh, I like this one too. This is like shopping for me, right? I'm going to go ahead and select the herb basket that looks like this. And I'm going to choose get this image. And it takes me over to Flickr. And on Flickr, I can just click the download this photo button. I'm going to pick the original size there. And it just downloads it as a JPEG in my downloads folder. And I'm going to close that Flickr window. While I'm here, I'm going to go back up to the top. I'm going to do X to clear the basket of herbs search. And I'm going to see if there's a better basket of strawberries. Just checking. And I see one that I like better than the one that I originally picked. So this first one on mine is what I'm going to select. I'm going to get the image and download it. Original size. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and close that Flickr window. And I'm going to do one more search here. And it's just going to be for garden tools. Notice there's audio files on here. And I'm kind of looking for something like this, gardening tools and a watering can, something with some interest. I actually collect watering cans, so this one will suit me nicely. And I'm going to go ahead and get it. So 3 files to add to our media library. I'm going to go ahead and close Flickr, and I'm also going to close the Openverse tab. And I'm back in my media library now, and I want to get rid of the strawberries in the basket that we originally had from the files in the video description. I just clicked on it, and in the lower right corner, I'm going to delete that permanently and confirm that deletion. And then up at the top of the screen, I'm going to add new. I'm going to just select files this time, make my way to my downloads, and I'm just going to grab those 3 files. Now, what I normally do is rename them. So move them to a different location and rename them. But we'll see their images in here. So I'm going to just select the 3 of them and open. And let it upload and crunch them. And once they're in the media library, I'm going to select the Garden Tools one. And I'm going to give it alt text, Garden Tools in a watering can to describe it. I'm going to change the title here to Gardening Tools. and the caption is gardening tools. And then I am going to go to the back image. And here's my new basket of strawberries. And back one more, and that should be our basket of herbs. And then I can go ahead and close that window. So we have our new basket of strawberries, a basket of herbs, and some garden tools. Let's go back to our post page. And now we are going to add a gallery to About My Garden sticky post. So I'm going to go ahead and edit that. And I am going to hover between the two paragraphs and add the gallery block there. And I can go to my media library, and I am going to add the watering can there. And I'm also going to select the basket of herbs, the strawberries, and then go down and select the basket of peppers and create a new gallery. And then go ahead and insert that gallery. And notice that the vegetables in the basket, it's like in its own row here. The picture's as wide as the three above it. Let's go ahead and update this post. And then I'm going to use the link to view the post. And it's not bad. I mean, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and fiddle with the size from the media library. And so I'm back in my post, and I'm going to go to view post. And then I'm going to go back to my media library. There are some editing capabilities in the library. I'm going to select that basket of vegetables, the wide one. And I can edit the image from the link right underneath the image. So I could scale the image if I wanted to, right? I could crop the image, rotate it, flip it, so on and so forth. And if you look at the question mark to the right of scale image, it will proportionally scale it. So you don't have to worry about that, but it gives you other information that if you're going to scale it, do that before you crop, flip, or rotate the image. They can only be scaled down, not up. Now, again, it's limited editing capabilities in here, but sometimes that's all you need. And in our case, we don't have to change these dimensions. I'm quite okay with it being underneath the other pictures in the gallery. I just wanted the opportunity to show you that you can do some limited editing from within your media library. So I'm going to just do the X in the upper right-hand corner there. And now we're going to go and add some images to our categories. And so we're going to start with fruit by editing that category. And in the description section, you're going to select Add Media. And we're going to select the basket of strawberries. And over on the right, we are going to insert into post. And if you scroll to the very bottom of that screen, you'll see your update button. And once it updates it, it takes you back to the top and it lets you know the category was updated, and you can go directly back to all of your categories there. Now notice with this fruit basket, and this happens, it doesn't happen with every image, but sometimes it does. When you add an image to your category, it shows, like I said, on this category page. But if you add categories to your menu, then you'll have category pages on your site, and the image will show there as well. Now, even if you have that caption ID and all of that stuff here above it, right, that won't show on the categories page on your site. Now, sometimes it will let you delete that information. If you go back into Edit for Fruit, and you notice before the picture showed up, right, you saw all of that text there. Now, this is the thing. Sometimes the text shows up where the picture is. If you go to the text tab on the right, you will see that text. But if you delete that text there and go back to visual, you'll notice that the picture is also deleted. So what you're going to do is you're going to back out of there without updating, go back into Edit Fruit category. And the trick here, now this doesn't affect it in the media library, is to delete the caption right underneath the picture, then go down and update. And when you go back to categories, you won't see all of that extra text. So it's like a weird thing that happens. For me, a weird thing that happens is when it happens sometimes, but not all the time. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and you're going to use the basket of herbs for the herb category. And you're going to use the basket of vegetables for the vegetable category. Go ahead and set those up on your own. So after deleting the captions underneath the images when I added them into the category, I can see that I don't have that extra text. So what I'm going to have you do now, and I'm going to have you do this on your own, I'm going to have you add the images for all of our other categories, starting with basil. For uncategorized, use the question mark image that we have, and you can go ahead and pause the video and get that done. Remember, get rid of any captions under the images because it seems pretty consistent in here that it is showing all that extra text. And so I'm down to the last one that I have to do. So I'm editing tomatoes. And here they are. Now I am not deleting the caption over here on the attachment details because then that deletes the caption from the media library. And since the issue is only on this category screen, once I insert it into the post, I'm just deleting the text that's underneath the image and then updating. And that way I keep my captions in the media library. I'm just removing them from categories. So back on my categories page, you can see all of the images that I used. None of them have that extra distracting text on them. And so we've applied these images to our categories. So the way to add category pages to your site is via the menus. So we're going to hover over Appearance on our left sidebar and click on Menus. So when we set up our theme, we set up the primary menu, and if I go to the drop down here and select primary menu, you'll see that we added, let me select it. I always do the drop down and forget to choose the select button. So we have About Me and Blog on our primary menu at the top of our site. And then because of this setting, automatically add new top level pages to this menu. When we did our articles page, it added that to the primary menu as well. And so up top where it says select a menu to edit, we're going to do the drop down and select secondary menu and click the select button. And so over on the left side, we're going to expand categories. And let's just do vegetables under most used tab. We'll do vegetables, herbs, and fruit. Or we could have done select all. And then we'll choose add to menu. And we're not going to select anything under menu settings. We're just going to go over to the right and save that menu. Now, let's go back to our pages and let's view our About Me page. So you see we have About Me, our blog, our articles. And if I scroll to the bottom of the page, you'll see our categories. If I click on vegetables for categories, it takes me to that category page with that category image, and it will show you the posts that are categorized as vegetables, even if they're categorized with multiple categories like our 2 posts are. So that secondary menu resides at the bottom of the page. And I'm going to just go back and get back to my appearance menus. Now, the other thing I could do, and I'm still on my secondary menu here, is on the left side, I can expand categories and I could go to the View All page. And since we already have vegetable, herbs, and fruit on there, I'm going to select all at the bottom, uncheck fruit, herbs, and vegetables. And that gives me my uncategorized category as well. And then I'm going to add those to the menu. And now I can organize them. I'm going to drag uncategorized so it's under fruit. And then, as you're rearranging them, you don't want them to be sub-items. So I'm going to do the drop down for basil. If you drag it even a little bit to the right, so I'm going to move it out from under cilantro, it makes it a sub-item. And I'm going to collapse that basil again. And trying not to move it inwards, I'm going to move it underneath herbs. And I can actually indent it there because it is a sub-item of herbs. So let me... Wow, I'm really messing up this demo. And so I'm going to use the menu to help me navigate. So I want basil to be a sub-item under herbs. So I just kept moving it up until it was directly underneath herbs. And then I did under herbs. So it makes it a sub-item. I'm going to go and grab my other herbs and make them sub-items under herbs as well. So once I've organized everything, as I was going through it, I realized that I never added my strawberries picture to the strawberry category. So I went and did that. And then I was able to make that a sub-item of fruit here. And you want to make sure your menu is saved. And now let's go back to pages. And let's view our About Me page again. And when we go to the bottom now, so when we click on, here's our categories. When I click on the vegetables category, I'm still seeing the vegetables category page. Because we made those sub items, we need to assign one of those categories to a post. So I'm going to go back to my post. And so on my post page, I'm going to do a quick edit on the What Grows in My Garden post. And you can see I can assign the categories there too. So I'm going to just do a check mark in front of strawberries. And I'll also do a check mark in front of basil, just for demonstration purposes here. And then I'll update. I'll go back to my pages. My About Me page, I'm going to view again. And when I go to the bottom this time, you can see the categories that have been selected, right, for any of the posts I have. So if I go to strawberries there, I'll see the category page for strawberries. So that secondary menu is remaining unchanged, vegetables, herbs, fruit, and uncategorized. But as you use more categories on your posts, they will show up here under categories. I'm going to go back to my posts. And I'm going to do a quick edit on What Grows in My Garden again. And I'm going to uncheck strawberries and basil and then update again. There may be times when you will want to import or export content out of your WordPress or into your WordPress site. For example, you may want to move your site from WordPress.com to WordPress.org or vice versa, or you might want to move content from another platform into WordPress, or you might be rebuilding your site and you want to move key content to a clean install of WordPress. So there can be other reasons why you would want to do this as well. It's a really simple process. You're able to import and export without having to use any plugins. I mean, out of the core of WordPress, you can do this. You might just have to activate for one or two of these things, as you'll see shortly. So we're going to start with exporting content. And what we're going to do, just to make it easy, because many of you viewing this video only have one site, and that's fine. So we're going to export some of our content from our current blog site, and then we're going to import it back in so you can see what happens. And it would work the same if you were importing it into another site. So this is the screen you will see when you go to export content. And I have a link at the bottom that'll give you some more information on exporting from the WordPress.com support page. So what it does is it creates an XML file for you to save to your computer when you export. And that's extensible markup language. You can use it to communicate between different programs. It's also called WordPress Extended RSS or WXR, and it contains your posts, pages, comments, custom fields, categories, and tags. Once you've saved the download file, you can use the import function in another WordPress installation, or in our case, in the same one, to import the content. So you can choose to export everything, or as you'll see when we get in there, you can export one item at a time. Those are option buttons, not check marks. So it's either all content or you just want to export post. And when you select an individual item, it gives you the ability to filter it so you're not exporting everything. And you'll see that shortly. The next screen is when you go to import. So it can import from other systems as well as from WordPress. So if you have information on a blogger blog, you can import it into WordPress. There's a categories and tags converter there as well. If you have posts on LiveJournal, if you have a movable type or typepad blog, you can get that stuff into WordPress. You can import from an RSS feed, from Tumblr using their API, and also WordPress. So if the importer you need is not listed, and it says that at the very bottom of that screen, you can search for a plugin to see if an importer is available. But these are the ones that come with WordPress core. And at the bottom of this slide, I have a link to WordPress documentation on importing content. On the left sidebar, we're going to hover over Tools, and that's where you'll see Import and Export both reside. Let's go ahead and click on Export. And depending on what you have in your site, choose what to export. May be a little bit different than the screenshot that was in the slide deck. And so you can choose all content, or if you look at post, if you do the option button in front of posts, it will let you select specific categories, authors, start and end dates, or all, which is the status there, right? You might want to look at just published or draft or scheduled, so on and so forth, private. So you get the filter ability when you select one of these individual options here. We don't have any campaigns. That ties into something else. And we do have media. So let's do this. Let's say we want to export just our post. So I'm going to leave everything on all here and just have post option button selected. And down at the bottom, I'm going to select download export file. So it will come up on your downloads on your browser. And now what we're going to do is go back to our post. And let's put our what grows in my garden post in trash. And then I'm going to go to trash by using the link, and I'm going to delete it permanently. Now we're going to go back to Tools, and this time we're going to choose Import. So this is where you'd have to install, like if you needed to import posts and things from Blogger, you would have to install now, so on and so forth. Now, you might have to install your WordPress. I've already had my WordPress importer installed. So if you have to do that, you can, it'll be a link right underneath it. And in my case, I'm going to go ahead and run my importer. And so it's telling me to upload that XML file that's in our downloads. So the only choice I have here is to choose that file, which is sitting in my download. It has the name of my site. If I hover over it, you'll see that it is an XML file. I'm going to just double click it there. And once I select it, I can upload the file and import. When you do that, it brings you to the assign author screen, right? So the import author, you can create a new user with a login name here or assign post to an existing user. I'm going to do the drop down next to select and select my admin user. And then you have to check the box that says download and import file attachments. And then you submit that. Because we told it to export our post, it's letting me know upon import that About My Garden post already exists. I'm going to go back over to post. And you can see that what grows in my garden is back. So when we export it, we exported both of our posts. And then when we imported it, let us know that one was already here. So it's not going to bring it in again. It just brought in the one that we had deleted. And so again, this could be a clean WordPress site. Let's go back to Tools and hover over Export again. So if you strip down your site or you start a fresh install of WordPress, you can come to this site first and export all the content and then import it into your new site. In Module 4, we started by adding a new page with links on it to our site. And we went over some of the other page options while we were doing that. We spent most of our time in this module working on the media library. So you learned how to upload pictures to your media library. We also learned how to go ahead and give them alternative text and captions, or change the captions that come in with the media. And then we spent time adding some images to our pages and our post. We used featured image, individual images, gallery of images. And then we moved on to adding images to our categories. And we saw that some of that extra description text showed up in our categories list. So we learned how to delete the caption from underneath the picture, not from the caption on the sidebar that ties to the media library, so that we could clean that up in our category page. After we assigned pictures to our categories, we were able to go ahead and create category pages by modifying the secondary menu in our theme. So that way your users will have the ability to see all of the posts that are assigned to a particular category on that particular category page on your site. And we ended up learning how to first export content. We exported our post, and then we went in and deleted one of our posts, and then we imported our post by accessing the XML file that we had downloaded. So our fifth module will focus on plugins. Specifically, we'll break them down, like what are they? We've already talked a little bit about plugins. You'll learn how to install plugins, and then we'll go over the must-have pack of plugins. Now, the must-have pack of plugins varies depending on who you ask. So I'm going to provide you with a list of what I consider to be the must-have pack of plugins depending on what you're going to be using your site for. Earlier in the course, when you were introduced to the WordPress family, you learned that plugins are considered to be the children of the family. Also earlier, we talked about how the WordPress core does not, by on its own, have much functionality. So plugins allow you to add new functionality or extend existing functionality on your site, allowing you to create virtually any kind of website from e-commerce stores to portfolios to directory sites to blog sites. Plugins literally plug into your WordPress site. So on our left sidebar, let's hover over plugins and go to installed plugins. So these are the ones that come with the core. And you notice that there's an anti-spam plugin. It's used to protect your blog from spam. Keeps your site protected even while you sleep. And even though it comes with the core, if you want to use it, it needs to be activated. It also lets you know that it will automatically update whenever an update comes out for that particular plugin. It will automatically update. That's been enabled on your Bluehost settings page. And so before we get to installing new plugins, let's go ahead and activate our anti-spam plugin. And for this particular plugin, you need to use Jetpack to connect to it. So that's another plugin that comes out of the box. We're going to go connect with Jetpack on the right side. And now you're being prompted to log in with your WordPress.com account. So I've gone through all the steps. It sent me an email, and I got to the email, and it gave me a link to log in. And so now I'm on this screen, and I'm going to approve this. So it's letting you know that it'll be able to view user information data, username, name, email, blog, and Gravatar. I'm going to go ahead and click on Approve. And so once you're in, you have a series of tabs across the top. You're looking at your account overview. I have it hiding some personal information on this screen. And then it's features, pricing. We're using the free version, developers, help, blog. And then activate is where we're going to go. So on this page, right here in the green box, if you already have the Akismet plugin installed and activated on your WordPress site, you can skip to step 5. Since we went through Jetpack, we can go down to step 5 here, and we don't really have anything to do. It's just telling us where to go to find it in WordPress. So here, you're going to go under Jetpack, and then you'll see that Akismet anti-spam. So I'm going to go back to WordPress. And now over on the left, I'm going to click on Jetpack. And you'll see that you have the Akismet anti-spam option under Jetpack. Now it's still saying connect with Jetpack, but I think it's active on the site now. Let me check that. So I clicked on Dashboard under Jetpack, and then I went back to Akismet anti-spam, and now it lets me know that it's active and ready to stop spam. And this is where I would come if I wanted to see statistics. Now, our site is not out to the public yet, so nothing will be here. But I think it's pretty clear on walking you through how to activate a plugin. Most of the time, it's pretty clear. So you shouldn't have any problems with that. We're going to do others. We're going to look at some of the others that came with core. Back on the plugin screen, if I wanted to deactivate anti-spam, I could just do it there. Google Analytics requires you to have a Google Analytics account that's already set up before it will work with this plugin here. So I'm going to actually deactivate mine, and I'm going to just say other and submit and deactivate because I'm not going to be using it in here. And then Hello Dolly really doesn't do anything for you other than put a little bit of a smile on your face. So what it does is it randomly displays lyrics from the Louis Armstrong song Hello Dolly on every screen that you're on while you're working in admin. So we can just activate that and see its effect. And now if you look up on the right at the top, underneath your site status tab, you'll see a lyric from Hello Dolly, Promise You'll Never Go Away. And then if I go to, let's say, to a different screen, if I go to Pages, it's so nice to have you back where you belong. If I go back to Plugins, I feel the room swaying. And this one is really, like I said, it doesn't really do anything other than bring some levity into your day. For me, it's particularly special now, this plugin, because I learned how to play Louis Armstrong's Hello Dolly on my keyboard about 2 weeks ago. And the last one we're going to look at in the ones that come with WordPress core is all the way at the bottom, Yoast SEO. So we've been seeing Yoast information everywhere we look. When we're going into a page to edit it, we're seeing information in there about SEO. So we just need to finish your first time configuration for this one. So I am going to go ahead and click on that. So one of the things I want to point out is that this little pop-up here, get the most out of Yoast SEO. If you want to optimize even further with the help of their SEO experts, you can sign up for a free weekly webinar, and there's a register now link right there. For your first time configuration, it wants you to tell us about your site so we can get your site ranked, right? It says, the Yoast Indexable Squad can't wait to get your site in tip-top shape for the search engines. Help us and take these 5 steps in order to put our Yoast indexables to work. So other than giving a brief description of SEO, we don't really go deep into SEO in this course at all. So it's saying the first step here, it's already done. It's analyzing your site just like Google does. And it's running the SEO data optimization. It says it will immediately improve technical issues without you needing to do anything. So it's already done it. It successfully analyzed our site, can move to the next step. So I'm going to click on continue there. And so your site representation, I'm going to say that it represents a person, this particular blog site. There's the website name, right? I can select a user. And it has personal logo or avatar. So it's taking me to my media library there, and I don't want to represent myself that way. So I can always come back in and get this information. I'm going to just choose save and continue here. Oh, well, it's not going to let me do that. So I'm going to just make myself a question mark for right now so I can get past this screen. And I can always come back in and replace the image. Let's see, I think I have everything else there. And now social profiles, you can add your social profiles to this profile. So you're, if you have Twitter or Facebook, stuff like that. And I just went to continue there. So now it's on personal preferences. You can either allow or disallow it, which is the default, for it to collect anonymous information about your website and how you use it. Gives you information about what will be tracked if you say yes. You can also sign up for the newsletter down here. I'm going to just do save and continue. And now it's able to do a lot of optimization for your site already. And so you can register here for the free weekly webinar if you'd like to, all right? So this one's pretty simple to get it configured for the first time. You're just following the steps. And now on the left, you can, under Yoast SEO, you notice a couple of these workouts and redirects, or you would have to upgrade to premium for that. But you can work that menu there. You can go to general, right? And it's showing me that it couldn't detect any serious problems, which is good. I have no new notifications. And that's on the dashboard tab here. And I can go to settings. And it brings me to this panel. Welcome to your new Yoast SEO settings. I can go next on here. It's giving me some information. They've moved things around with this upgraded version. And I'm just nexting my way through there and then got it, right? So it's just giving you some navigational information. And then also under Yoast, you have integrations, tools, and premium. And you can take a moment and look at those categories. And so when I'm on the tools screen, I see that SEO data optimization is complete. So those are the plugins. I'm going to go back to the plugins page. Again, those are the plugins that come with the core. Now, the next section that we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to find and install other plugins. The last lesson in this course is the must-have pack of plugins. And again, that list can vary depending on who you ask. So I have a Word document in the files for video description. And if it's in the same directory as your PowerPoint, if you have the PowerPoint open, you'll be able to open that Word document. Otherwise, I have it up on my screen, so no problem. We just activated activated Yoast SEO, so that works for search engine optimization. The next one on this list is called UpdraftPlus. Now, it has both free and premium versions. It actually has a few different premium plans, and it can help you by backing up your site. So the thing about Updraft, and just some background information you should know, an estimate of 13,000 websites gets hacked every day. So also, parts of your WordPress website can sometimes stop working due to simple errors. So if you have a recent backup, it can save you a ton of headaches, whether you've been attacked, encounter a compatibility issue, or simply want to migrate your site. It can create automatic or manual backups of your website. You can store your backups locally or in the cloud. You can restore your website to a previous state from a backup. And we are going to actually install that one when we go back into WordPress. There's some more on this list. Optimal has both free and premium versions. The premium version is $22.50 a month, which is charged annually as of this writing. So check your pricing because it can change. Because images can take up more than 50% of the average web page size, optimizing your images can make a huge difference to your site's page load time. If your website takes more than 3 seconds to load, the bounce rate can reach 38%. And so Optimal will take every graphic you upload and optimize it so that it takes up less space. It uses a cloud-based system to speed up your site. It auto-detects the screen size and resizes images to provide fast loading and a responsive experience to your users. So if they're accessing the site from a mobile device, it's responsive to that. The third one is Revive Old Post. And in this document, you'll see that this one refers to social media. So social media is the source of over 30% of referral traffic to most websites. You can share your new and old posts to Twitter and Facebook automatically from your site. You can set a schedule for your social media publications and include hashtags and links back to your website on those posts. Revive Old Posts has both free and premium versions, and there are 3 premium plans as of this writing. We have WP Rocket, and that's a caching plugin that helps you speed up your loading times. I'll let you read the rest of those details on your own. Elementor is a visual page builder that gives you the ability to craft original designs for your pages that are somewhat independent of your current theme. So it works with all WordPress themes. You can select from over 300 templates from its library. It has responsive designs and also free and premium versions. WP Forms is another one that comes with the core. The free version comes with the core. Of course, it has a premium version. And it gives you the ability to build beautiful forms. It's very user-friendly and it's responsive for mobile devices. Has a lot of pre-built form templates. And you can create a form for free if you're using the free version. Otter is another one. Gutenberg was the replacement for the WordPress Classic Editor. So it adds useful extra functionality to Gutenberg. You can add Google Maps and advanced heading blocks. You can use it to also create an attractive contact form. And it has 30 plus Gutenberg blocks for unique pages, and it is free. Redirection is the other one here. You know, if you've ever tried to go to a website and there's something wrong with it, you get that 404 error, can't find the page. So that makes for a bad user experience. Redirection is a redirect manager for WordPress. It lets you set up custom redirects within your website and then keeps a full record of data on clicks. You can use it to track broken URLs on your site so you don't get those 404 broken pages. It will show you a list of pages that are 404s, and all you need to do is enter the URL where you want redirection to redirect the visitor, and that is free. And you've seen Monster Insights messages popping up all over WordPress, and this helps you get to know your audience so you can grow your business. It's based on the user's behavior on your website, so you can adjust your marketing strategy in order to improve engagement and conversions. Really useful when you're having, like if you have an e-commerce site. It's integrated with Google Analytics, which I mentioned you must have an account, so you can get all the relevant data about your visitors. You can see what content on your site performs best and which pages need improvement. You can create an audience profile, which includes demographics, education, gender, age, and interests. Learn about your visitors' behavior, like how they find your site, how much time they spend there, what links they click on, what keywords they search for, and more. And it has free and premium versions. As of this writing, there are 3 premium plans. So on the left side, under Plugins, we're going to click on Add New. And from here, you can look at featured, popular, recommended, favorites, or premium ones. You also have the ability to search. So in that search box, I'm going to type Updraft and press Enter. And you'll see that the UpdraftPlus WordPress Backup plugin pops up. And I'm going to choose Install Now. And then I can choose Activate. It takes me back to Installed Plugins, and it's in the list. And notice you have these options underneath it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Settings there. When you get to this screen, you'll notice that you have tabs going across the top, right? So let's go to Migrate Clone tab first, and it gives you the ability to create a temporary clone on their servers of your site. Now you have to have credit in your account in order to be able to do that. You can also they're recommending that you can try out their Migrator add-on. So that can perform a direct site-to-site migration. Like if you want to migrate this site to another host or something like that. Let's go to settings. And this is where you can set up a backup schedule, right? So I'm going to leave mine on manual for the files, right? But you see the different choices you have there. And the same for the database backup schedule. So this is for files, this is for your database. Remember, your database contains everything that's on your site. And then down here, you get to choose your remote storage location. So you have all of these choices, right? Google Cloud, Google Drive. Google Drive is what I'm selecting. And when you scroll down, it's letting you know here that it will create a folder called UpdraftPlus. You can rename it if you want, in your Google Drive. So everything, all your backups will be in that folder. You can authenticate. You have to sign in with Google. You have to authenticate. I've already authenticated, so you can go through that process if you are using Google Drive. And you can tell it what to include in the files backup. And then you have some things that you can exclude from uploads if you like. And then there's the other directories. Remember that WP-content folder that I showed you, right? And you have the choice to exclude there as well. So once you're done on this page, you're going to go to the bottom and save the changes. After all of that is set up, I'm coming back to the backup/restore tab, and I am going to click on Backup Now. And I get this Perform a Backup dialog. Everything is checked except for the bottom one. Only allow this backup to be deleted manually. So, for example, keep it even if retention limits are hit. I'm going to leave my default check. So it's including the database, the files, and it's sending it to remote storage. And I'm going to click on Backup Now. And you'll see the progress going across the bottom. And when it's done, you'll see the last log message there. It apparently succeeded, and it's now complete. And then you'll see under existing backups, the backups, right? And from here, I can delete a backup, I can view the log, or I can restore from here should I get hacked or run into another problem. And you can see in my Google Drive, there is an UpdraftPlus folder, and it has my backups in it. So all 5 of those categories are in a separate zip folder here. This one is uploads, this one is themes, plugins, others, and the database. And the last thing I want to talk about is once you've built up your site, when you're ready, you can launch your site. Now I'm on the plugin screen and I have this pop-up here. They're showing all over the place, right? Once you already launch your site, up here, if I click on the site status coming soon, I can click on that to launch my site. However, I will tell you this, if you're on a hosted site like I am, you don't have the ability, well, you do have the ability if you launch it, say by accident, you realize, oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that. If it weren't hosted, you would be able to come over to the left and go down to settings, and under general settings, you would find a privacy area. So it's not there because this is hosted, right? And so this privacy link that would be here under settings is only for that privacy page, that privacy policy page. So if you launch your site and you want to quote unquote unlaunch it, that could be a little bit challenging, but there are ways to do it. There are plugins that you can use to put like a coming soon page up, or you can go back to your pages and posts and change them from public to private or draft. So there are ways to unlaunch your site, but just takes a little bit more when it's hosted. So if you don't want to do this step because you're not ready to launch your site, you don't have to. But I'm going to go ahead and click on launch my site here. And when I do that, it comes to this welcome to your WordPress site, right? And it has all of these things, what they recommend before launching your site, right? And then the last thing on the list is launch with confidence. And when you select that, then you get the launch your site button. So like I mentioned, the options for private, coming soon, and draft are not underneath the settings like, I talked about because it's hosted. But once you launch it, you can come back here to restore your coming soon page if you wanted to. And I'm going to show you other ways of doing this as well. So when I go to visit my site, it's letting me know the site status is live here. I'm going to go back over here and get back into WordPress. And if I wanted to just have some of my pages or posts not showing on my site, everything is live now. I could go to post. And my post screen is kind of messed up. I'm going to go to edit for that first post. So at the post or page level, where the visibility on the right is public, I can change it to private there, which means it would only be visible to site admins and editors, right? Or password protected, only those with the password can view this post. The other thing I can do, but up at the top, I can switch it to a draft. So if I click on this, what grows in my garden, and switch it to a draft, it's unpublishing that post and I'll click OK and let it update. So in that case, it's a draft, it's not showing. What I normally do is, I'm going to come back over here, so it's still saying public over here. But what I normally do, instead of saving it as a draft, I make it private if I want other people to be working on it and fixing it. It's still not visible to the general site visitor. So that's normally how I handle that. And back on my post page, when I scroll down, I can see that this About My Garden is published, but it's not saying published now for what grows in my garden. That's kind of how that works. And I've gone back. I just clicked on that live link on the tab in the upper right. So I'm back on this Let's Set Up Your Site page, and I can restore the coming soon page from there. So now, and that might take a moment to update. It's still saying live there, but it should all be coming soon now again. So there are ways of accidentally on purpose publishing your site and then realizing it and having to go back either at the page or the post level. You can do it that way, or you can come back to this screen. And I just went from that screen to my post screen, and you can see that the tab now says coming soon again. So In this final module, we focused mostly on plugins. You learned a little bit about more. We kind of touched on this earlier, but what they are and how to go about activating ones that come with the core of WordPress. And we activated a few of them. The anti-spam one, Yoast SEO, Akismet. And then you learned how to add a new plugin and walk through the steps of grabbing that, getting it installed, and using it. And that was after we went over the must-have pack of plugins, and that's how we got UpdraftPlus for our backups. And then I reviewed how to launch your site, and if you launch it by accident, how to change it back to coming soon so that users that hit upon your URL will see that coming soon landing page. So I'd like to thank everyone for viewing this WordPress course. Again, my name is Trish Connor Cato, and it's been my pleasure to present this video to you. In the fourth module, we created another page using links to articles. And then we spent a lot of time working with our media library, uploading files to the media library, adding alternative text and captions to those image files. And you learned that I grabbed those images from Openverse.org, which you can get to through WordPress.org as well. We actually later on went into Openverse and got some more images. So you learned how to walk through that process as well. And then after we had all of our images in, we added images to our pages and posts, individual images, galleries, featured image. And then we also went back and added images to our categories so that those images would show on our site when a user accesses a category page. They also show on the category screen. And we learned a little glitch where we had to delete the caption from underneath the image for the category, but not from the attachment detail screen. We ended that module by learning how to export and import content. And then we started our last module and we learned more details about plugins, how to activate plugins that come with the core, and also how to install a new plugin and get it set up. We reviewed the must-have pack of plugins. After that, we talked about how to launch your site and then put it back to a coming soon state.